right, Spencer Cronan DOC number 605716. Rule number 2. On 2/7/2023, you're instructed to report to the office on either 2/13/2023 or 2/15/2023 for a drug screen. You failed to report to either date. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. Number 4, on 3/1, you were arrested by the Zachary Police Department for criminal activity offenses of battery of a dating partner by strangulation and aggravated kidnapping in East Baton Rouge Parish. On 9/7/2023, false imprisonment armed with a weapon, EBR DC-23-023338 charge was dismissed by the state. Battery of a dating partner, EBR DC-23-22339 was reduced to simple battery. Subject pled guilty to simple battery and was sentenced to 6 months of the East Baton Rouge Parish prison with credit for time served. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. Number 8, you were on 2/7/2023. You're instructed to report to the office. Same deal. On 2/13 and 2/15 drug screen, you failed to show up for either date.
Guilty.
And you're currently in the arrears, $252 supervision payments. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. Well, talk to me. You're guilty to everything. So tell me something. Tell me what's up.
I did miss the 2 dates, but I had already made contact with my parole officer in person. He had came to my house and we had made an agreement. I was supposed to report on March 1st. And I was supposed to report on March 1st for the drug screening and also to pay for the money. Because at the time, I didn't have the money. It wasn't I was refusing to pay. I didn't have the money because I was working as a painter and we don't work too much in the wintertime. And but that's when the incident had occurred when I was on the way to the pro office and I got arrested.
Why did they say you were supposed to report 2/13 and 2/15? Oh, okay. Why is that? You do have some people coming in. We'll talk to them at the perfect time. Why were those dates? You're saying 3/1, but why were those dates?
Because I didn't have a way to report. I didn't have a way to get there to the office at that time.
And you said, but you spoke to your officer or no?
He came. Yeah, he came to my house. He seen me in person. He seen me in person, sir.
So why they say it's a rule violation for you not showing up there if you say you talked to him?
I don't know. That's why I was still confused because the time I talked to him, he had told me to report on the 1st. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, we have some people here that'll come and speak the appropriate time. Just waiting for some, I guess, some people to come in here. Is that on his behalf?
Yes. Well, can I have a question?
We have got a question right here while you answer, Ms. Renato.
What is your current relationship with Brittany Welch?
She's my wife. I mean, we're engaged, not technically married yet, but we're soon to be married.
She's the victim of the domestic violence.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And I read the report and it's very concerning to me.
Yes, ma'am. She was very upset at the time. She has also tried to talk to the detectives multiple times, and she has written an affidavit stating that she was very upset at the time and she said some things that wasn't true.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have 2 people here, Kelsey Jenkins and Brittany Welch. Okay. And both of them would like to speak at the appropriate time.
Yes, sir.
I will go to rule number 4. On 3/1/2023, you were arrested by the Zachary Police Department for criminal activity. We already, you went through that one. You got that. I'm sorry. Just want to clarify that particular one we were just talking about. So you're saying it didn't happen? Is that what you're saying? I read the same thing. So you're saying it didn't happen? What are you saying exactly?
No, we got into an altercation, but it never got physical or violent. I tried to leave the situation. I wasn't even arrested at the crime scene. I was arrested somewhere else.
Why?
And, why? To get away from the.
No, why were you arrested somewhere else? Where were you arrested at?
I was arrested down the street. I don't know exactly what street it is, but I was just walking away because I didn't want it to escalate any further. And I guess at that time somebody else had already called the police, so they picked me up and brought me back to the gas station, Jets, and they started interviewing my wife, Brittany, and they didn't even ask me no questions. They just arrested me, and she gave the statement at the time, and we had been arguing for a while now, like a couple months, and it just kept escalating and escalating. And I mean, it never got physical or violent, but it was a bad time in her life. I had cheated on her, and I didn't know how to handle the situation properly at the time.
I mean, that's not the report says. It said it was physical.
It never got physical.
So you saying you cheated on her and she got mad at you?
Yes, sir.
How long you been in jail?
10 months.
All right, we'll let some of your guests speak. Kelly Jenkins can speak, or Brittany, it doesn't matter. Speak first.
And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I've appeared before this committee several times, but I'm here today not as an attorney on behalf of the client, but as a sister on behalf of her brother. As I stand before you, there are only two things that separate where I'm at from where Spencer's at. The first is who we were raised by. When I was 18 months old and Spencer was about 4, the woman who gave birth to us abandoned us and our 2 siblings for a life of drug and alcohol abuse. I was fortunate to be raised by my dad's side of the family. Spencer wasn't raised by anyone in particular. Instead, he bounced from house to house of whoever could take care of him for any given length of time. He spent time in the foster care system. He witnessed extensive drug abuse, extensive violence, and he had severe unresolved trauma. We saw each other maybe 5 times in 16 years before he went to prison for this last time. And I don't know everything that he's experienced. We're still working through that. That brings me to the second thing that separates us. Whereas I have had the opportunity to partake in therapeutic counseling, receive diagnoses for my own mental health issues, and be prescribed medications that allow me to function normally on a day-to-day basis, Spencer has received none of these things. And that is something that we are committed to working towards if this committee votes not to revoke his parole. More to the point about why we're here, Spencer was behind on his parole fee payments. That's why he was on his way to his parole officer on the day that his arrest occurred. But Louisiana law now distinguishes between willful failure to pay and an inability to pay. At the time that this happens, Spencer's situation fell into the latter. He was working for a paint company. It was the January to March time period. It was cold. They just didn't have work. So he had an inability to pay, but he was on his way to pay on the day of his arrest. And finally, this new charge that he's pled guilty to, Brittany is here with me. From nearly the moment that he was arrested, she has been trying to get the charges dropped. She's written several affidavits stating that she lied or that the report the police took was not factually accurate. In any event, she did not want these charges prosecuted. After 6 to 8 months of being in East Baton Rouge Jail, one of the deadliest jails in America, Spencer pled guilty to the first deal that he was offered under the belief that it was a misdemeanor and that he would not be violated. But instead, he pled guilty to this felony. If this committee votes to not revoke Spencer's parole, he has a bedroom in our house, he has a job with my husband, and he now has a sister who understands his mental health and personal needs better than before. And I can help him access the resources that he needs to avoid these types of altercations in the future. And so I humbly ask this committee to vote against revoking his parole. Thank you.
So he's gonna live with you said?
Yes, sir. We have a townhouse in St. George, and he has a whole bedroom and bathroom for himself.
Well, what about his, and I'm sure she'll talk, what about his fiance? Says he's gonna get married.
So our plan is for him to stay with us for a few months so that we can get him, to seeing a counselor, get him any medications that he may need for his mental health needs. And then at the point that we all feel like he's ready to begin living with Brittany again, then we will all make that decision as a family, including my husband, including our other brother, his fiance, and just as a larger family unit. To provide guidance and support to Spencer.
Has he ever been diagnosed or gone to the doctor?
He says that he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia. That's the only one that I'm aware of, but even I wasn't aware of that until his current incarceration. You may have noticed he has a nervous tic where he rubs his hand on his lap. I believe that he could easily be diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety as well, just from my own diagnoses and experience.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Here from Miss Brittany Welch.
Thank you for letting me speak. Things did get out of hand that day. Some third party called. I have a car that is older. My door is broke and my window, and I was driving. Whenever he went to pay for gas, like we were already, intense moments, back and forth. He went to pay for gas, and I was like, open my door for me. He's like, we're running late, we're going in the store. So I was like, no, I want to get out real quick, and I honked my horn, calling attention, to our situation that I shouldn't have been calling in public. Well, he went inside, paid for gas, the girl didn't set the pump right, he came back out, and then he walked back without telling me. So I was like, what is he doing? So I honked the horn again, causing a scene like I shouldn't have been doing. And he's like, I'm coming, made a motion like I'm going inside, pay for fixing gas. Came back, and I was like, fine, I'm gonna get out on my own. So I have to lean my seat back, and I have to climb myself back like this, roll my back window down, reach around and open my door. So I guess my body moving or something made people think we were fighting or something. He never choked me. Somebody said that he hit me. None of that ever happened. I told them that did not happen. I filled out affidavit, there was words that she put in there. Actually, the officer who was talking to me stated she was a domestic violence victim herself and kept trying to tell me stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not, afraid of him. Nothing's wrong. We just got an argument. We're just trying to fix that. We shouldn't be yelling in public. And she just really didn't care what I had to say. It was like, oh no, let's take pictures, really pushing the situation. I was already stressed. They already had picked him up, and that freaked me out. I knew he was on parole. He's been doing really well, and it really made me nervous and then I started freaking out, crying in the whole situation. And I kept telling her after, I was like, that didn't happen. No one, he didn't hit me, he didn't choke me, nothing. And I didn't even get to read the report until a month later. And then I read what she wrote, and I did not say that. I told her I didn't say that. I've even spoke to the officer, and she couldn't do that. I filled out an affidavit, talked to everybody. I didn't get to no one really listened until actually the lady at the DA at the court date talked to me, and it's just like, okay, I understand now better. And let's see what we can do to work through this. We should be coming home today. She told me it was going to be a misdemeanor, and that he probably wouldn't get revoked. And I was like, okay, we're ready for him to be home. And that's when he went ahead and accepted the plea. And I was not happy that afterwards we were told that he was probably going to be revoked after we were told that he wouldn't, because we would have probably just waited and went to trial with it. I mean, I love Spencer. His connection with God has blew me away in these last few months. It's something that I've never even knew that I could have with him, or he was going to have with God. We have a church that he's going to be joining with us when he gets out. We're definitely gonna seek whatever therapy we need for him and help. And, you know, with Kelsey and other people, we're gonna be able to have the support again.
Okay.
We have a 9-year-old, it's my son, it's not his biological son, but he's been there since he was like 5, and he's a very great father figure for my son, and he misses him, he thinks he's working, and he's ready for him to be home and experience life together again. I did not want any of this to happen like this. But my word has not even been, no one even listened to me at the beginning, like no one listened to what I said after it was supposedly domestic, they just ran with it. And no one ever really talked to me until I went to court.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Spencer, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry that all this happened. Like my wife was saying, I have gotten very close to God while I've been in here, and I honestly believe that if I had God in my life before this happened, it would have never happened like this. The situation. It's very unfortunate, but at the same time, I am thankful because it has saved my life. You know, like my sister was saying, I never had a positive role model in my life. I didn't know how to love my wife. I knew I loved her, but I didn't know how to, and it took a lot of I don't know. She had to teach me, you know, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that she's been patient and she's never given up on me. I've been in the faith-based program for 7 months now. I got my certificates. I've also done multiple Bible studies on the side, on extra, and I'm ready to be home and to be with my wife and son, and I can guarantee this will never happen like this again. You know.
Well, are you on, you take drugs?
No, sir.
Still trying to figure out why you didn't show up when they said for you to show up.
Honestly, that's what I'm trying to explain. I don't remember him. The time he came and talked to me, he said that you had to report on March 1st or you're going to jail. And that's the time he came to the house and spoke to me.
All right.
I've never had any other problems before this with my parole officer. I've always reported. I paid on time whenever I could. I've never. It's not like I was running
How
from.
long were you out before this happened?
2 years.
You had no problems in 2 years?
No, sir.
Yeah. All right. Now, fair to vote. I'll vote first. Look, I'm concerned about the situation. Look, it's a bad situation. Appreciate, you know, you people coming to speak to us today. But look, it is concerning. I mean, that's significant rule violations that you pled guilty to. Obviously, you pled to a misdemeanor. You know, I don't know the particulars other than reading the police report. I mean, that's, you know, it said there was some bruising, said they one time it looked like you had her in a chokehold and a headlock. I mean, none of that was just all made up, that somebody didn't see that.
I wasn't even at the crime scene. That's why I don't. Yeah, I was at a whole different area.
You were there. You were getting gas. It was during the gas time. I mean, when you were going in and out. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. I wasn't in the car. I mean, I don't understand.
I know. Well, like I said, look, I think you still have some work to do based on you pled guilty to rule violations 2, 4, 8, and 10. My vote is to revoke your parole today. Ms. Renatza.
Mr. Cronin, I am pleased to hear that you have a newfound faith.
Thank you.
You're looking into that, and that's a journey for you, and it will be. I am concerned. I think you need some help. I appreciate Ms. Welch and your sister being here today. both of whom I think would agree that you need some help. I mean, the witness's account of what happened is different than what you and Ms. Welch said. I think you have some anger issues that need to be addressed before you go home. I don't think that you've had the opportunity while you're there to address those issues. And I think there's also some mental health concerns that you would benefit from some evaluation and treatment. I do agree with Mr. Kelsey. My vote today is to revoke your parole. We'll see if we can get you moved to get you some help. Before
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get,
Thank you.
you'll have another opportunity. You'll have to apply. Maybe your sister can help you with your next application for another parole hearing. We'll try to get you some help.
All right, Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, it is an alarming situation. I appreciate both of you coming to speak today. I wish he'd have known you his whole life. I think it could have made a difference. My vote today would be do not revoke, conditional on you getting a mental health evaluation within 14 days. Follow all recommendations and live with your sister for the first 60 days.
Thank
All
you.
right, one, do not revoke, two votes to revoke. Today, your parole's been revoked. We'll see if we can get you moved maybe to Hunts to see if we can get you some mental health evaluation and get you some treatment. I think that'll benefit you significantly. You'll have that treatment and then you'll be able to come back out and be able to, be the person you want to be. There's no sense in coming back out still fighting the issues that you fight. So that's what we're going to try to do today. But today, your parole's been revoked. Good luck to you.
Thank y'all.